seem to wear trousers and jackets. These are probably meant to indicate the foreigners. Both men and women combed their hair and either plaited it or tied it into a knot. The general practice was to part the hair in the middle and tie the two locks into a knot. Sometimes the knot rested either on the right or left shoulder or was placed towards the forehead. The Oriental fondness for ornaments is met with both among men and women. Bangles, bracelets, necklaces and earrings were worn by both males and females. Women wore bangles reaching up to the elbows. The Battiprolu finds show that beads, emeralds, diamonds, pearls and gold were generally used in the manufacture of ornaments. The status of the people in society was determined not only by the castes to which one belonged but also on the basis of one's occupation. That by and large people led a life of comfort becomes evident from the use of such household articles as jugs, jars, chairs, tables, stools, beds, etc., even by those who lived in cottages. During the period of the Satavahanas, agriculture continued to be the basis of the economy. The state levied taxes at the rate of 1/6 on land, and land tax constituted a major source of revenue to the state. Salt was a monopoly of the state. Trade and industry made great strides during this period. This was largely due to the role played by the trade and craft guilds. That the Satavahanas encouraged trade both internal and external is attested to by the Periplus. Among the prominent market towns of the period mention may be made of Pathan, Tigara, Junna, and Karnataka. Nashik and Vijayanagara were the two important centers of inland trade where merchants had their warehouses. The port towns such as Bayagaza, Broach, Sopara and Kalyana were the noted centers of seaborne trade. Ptolemy refers to the part played by the ports on the mouths of the rivers Godavari and Krishna in the trade with Malaya and East Indies. The flourishing trade of the Deccan reached its height in the 2nd century AD. It is worthy of note that a coin of Yajnasri Satakarani bears a masted ship. This indicates not only the maritime power and activity of the Satavahanas but also suggests that they must have possessed a fleet of ships for carrying on this oceanic trade. Industries were based mainly on agriculture. Arts and crafts were organized into castes and guilds. The Nashik and Junna inscriptions refer to various classes of workers such as Kalarikis, potters, Odiantrikis, makers of hydraulic engines, Damikis, corn dealers, Kolikis, weavers, Vasakaras, bamboo workers, Kasakaras, braziers, etc. These crafts were organized by their own guilds. The guilds had their own laws that were binding on members. The regulations of the guilds had the force of laws and the king was obliged to take cognizance of these rules in the administration of justice. By their honest dealings the guilds were able to win the confidence of the public. They not only served the interest of trade and commerce but also possessed banking facilities. They accepted deposits from members of the public and acted as trustees also. The Nashik inscription records 2 investments made with the guilds. According to the record, Ashavadatta made a permanent investment of 200 kahapanas at 1% interest per month and another 1,000 kahapanas at 0.75% interest per month for supplying, to every one of the 20 monks 12 kahapanas as cloth money, and the rest to meet their other sundry expenses of the monks out of the interest. The deposits served as capital of the guilds which they lent in turn, to commercial enterprises. Thus, as R.C. Majumdar points out, the guilds must have been long-standing, and their operation characterized by honesty and fair dealing, for otherwise men would scarcely have made perpetual endowments with them. Guilds also made gifts on their own to religious institutions and participated in various kinds of social services. Karshapana, Drama, Pana, Gadyana and Dinara are the 5 coin denominations found in this period. Dinara, a Greek coin, must have come to the country through trade. But we have no means to determine the exact value of these denominations. They, however, weighed respectively from 35 grams to 560 grams in the ratio of 35, 70, 140, 280, 560 grams respectively. Religious condition. The Satavahana rulers were the followers of Vedic religion and performed Vedic sacrifices. The 3rd ruler of the dynasty performed a number of Vedic sacrifices and even named one of his sons Vedasri. Gata Saptasati opens with a passage in adoration of Shiva. Gautami Putra Satakarani, though claims to have protected the Brahmanas, is said to have made a gift of large sum of the Buddhists. He is said to have emulated the examples to the epic heroes Rama, Kesava, i.e., Krishna, and Arjuna. The pantheon of Hinduism included Indra, Vasudeva, the sun and the moon, Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna, Ganesha and Pasupati. Temples of Gauri, the consort of Shiva, are